Welcome everybody to the second year that we do. Today is not a Celtic festival, but we're working on celebrating Imbolc so that our sisters can get to know Imbolc. And we're going to do more ceremonies throughout the year from the priestess program and the enchantress program so that we can um, get to know each other better, enjoy each other's company, have ceremonies and celebrations together, and rituals and all that good stuff. So I welcome you for coming today. We're celebrating Imbolc, the beginning of spring, the end of winter, where we're leaving away behind all that cold stuff, all that winter stuff, and we're opening our arms to the nice warm air and the new fruit and flowers of the spring. And with us, I have Lisette or Aislinn Wolf, who will talk to us about Imbolc in a little bit. And when she raises her hand, lets me know when she's ready. Or you can just um, talk over me, Aislinn, when you're
I'm
ready.
ready. I'm
Oh,
ready.
okay. Here she is.
Okay, so Imbolc, um, very special holiday. Is one of the what we call the fire holidays. Is our cross quarter. There's four in the year, um, which is of course Samhain is one of them, and then there's and then Imbolc. Then when we have Beltane, so we have four what we call them fire holidays, or because they're important holidays that are not they're like in the in between holidays. They're not connected to the equinox. The equinox would be like spring, autumn, uh, fall, and winter. These are the ones in between. Imbolc especially is very powerful and very special because Imbolc is the first stirring of spring, which Lumira or Marlu already mentioned. It's also a sacred day for the goddess Bridget. It's a primarily a Celtic holiday, even though Imbolc is celebrated around the world, but it is very connected to the Celts and Celtic heritage, um, and connected specifically to the goddess Bridget, who is supposed to be the goddess of Imbolc. She is the goddess that is the one that heralds spring. She's the one that brings in the spring. So, according to Celtic lore, the Calilac is the goddess that brings in the winter, right? She's the what they call the crone or the hag that brings in winter. And then supposedly Bridget goes dormant, right? She kind of goes, below and like in kind of like in the underworld, so to speak. And then when Imbolc comes, Bridget comes out and the Calilac goes into the underworld. So it's one of the lore of the significance of Imbolc. So crossway between winter and spring, it's when the animals start coming little by little, coming out of their hibernation. You see the first flowers are starting to come out of the ground little by little. It's very significant in colder environments, in cold countries, like Canada, for example, where it's very cold, very often, a lot, like most of the year. And so Imbolc is special because it's like that moment where you get to feel like, oh my God, spring is finally coming. So that's the feeling of Imbolc, if I can put it in feelings, right? Once again, sacred to Bridget. Imbolc is usually celebrated between the 31st of January and the 2nd of February. So some people celebrate it on the 1st, some people celebrate it on the 2nd. Um, Another thing I want to mention is right now, there's the goddess Bridget, and then in Ireland, for example, they connect to Saint Bridget. Saint Bridget is supposed to be an emanation of the goddess Bridget. So some people see her as an independent saint. Some people see it as a continuation of the goddess, as she was worshipped in ancient Celtic times, and now modern time she's seen as a saint, a modern day saint. And the interesting thing is that now it is a legal holiday in Ireland. So banks are closed, everything's closed in honor of Saint Bridget. So this is one of the significance of Imbolc. There's a lot of beautiful rituals to Imbolc that, you know, I could take hours mentioning them because there's so many ways to celebrate Imbolc and connect to the goddess Bridget, who, by the way, is the goddess of the hearth, and she's a solar goddess. She is connected to the sun, connected also to water and the wells. So very special goddess and a very special holiday. So I'm complete.
Thank you. Are there any questions about her before we go on, or about Imbolc? Well, we're going to continue with Melanie Hachi. Priestess Mel is going to do open sacred space so that we are in sacred space. Here we go.
Wonderful. Hello, everyone. And Lisette, you mentioned cold. It's going to be minus 23 Fahrenheit tomorrow morning. So yes, very cold, very much looking forward to spring here in Eastern Canada. So, all right. So I haven't done this in a while now that I'm thinking of it. So welcome everyone again. You can either grab and light sage, Palo Santo, use a wand, an athame, use your finger, either way works great. It's all about intention. So by doing that, we're going to take 3 deep cleansing breaths in the nose and out the mouth, in the nose, out the mouth. And one more time, in the nose. And letting all go out the mouth. So guardians of the watchtower of the north, element of earth, I call upon you to protect us. Grant us stability and grounding. Hail and welcome. Guardians of the watchtower of the east, element of air, I call upon you to protect us. Grant us wisdom and imagination. Hail and welcome. Guardians of the watchtower of the south, element of fire, I call upon you to protect us. Grant us passion and courage. Hail and welcome. Guardians of the watchtower of the west, element of water, I call upon you to protect us. Grant us intuition and flow. Hail and welcome. Guardians, I call upon you to bless our sacred circle, to guide us in love and light. I thank the God and Goddess for their protection, clarity, and guidance as we move forward in this safe and sacred space. So mote it be. I'm complete.
You. Now we have Marcia Santos is going to be leading us in prayer and lighting a candle. Do candle lighting.
Good evening, everyone. Should I light the candle first or the prayer first?
How you feel intuitively. And anybody that has a candle can light the candle now.
All right, I will do both. Okay, I am using, let me change things here. So I am using a book that I like very much. It's called Tending to Bridget's Flame. And the prayer comes from this book. Okay. It's called Invoking the Fire. Bridget of the spark, Bridget of the flame, Bridget of the embers, I call you in. Bridget of inspiration, Bridget of shielding, Bridget of comfort, I call you in. Bridget in my flame, O Bridget of courage. Be in my flame, O Bridget of grace. Be in my flame, O Bridget of beauty. This night and every night, this day and every day. Blessed be. I'm complete. And now, nice. And now we have Aislinn Wolf guiding us through a meditation to meet Bridget.
Thank you, Marcia. That was a beautiful, beautiful prayer. And I love that book, by the way. I recommend that book to anyone that likes Bridget or connects to Bridget. It's a great book.
Thanks.
All right. So before we start the meditation, I want to talk a tiny little bit more about Bridget so that when I do this meditation, you will be able to understand a little more about what you are going to experience and this goddess that you're going to connect to. So what can I say? Well, Bridget, once again, is a Celtic goddess. She is, yes, I will put the name of the book and the author. It's Luna Weathers. Hold on. Give me 1 minute. I'll put it in the.
Let
I'll put
Marcia
it
do
in the.
it. Let
Oh,
Marcia do
Marcia.
it.
Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead, Marcia. If you could put it in, that would be awesome. Thank you, Marcia. Yeah. Sorry, ladies. I'm an Aries. You know, when the moment you say, "Can you?" I'm like, yeah, I'm scrambling to do it. So yeah, sorry about that. It's an Aryan nature. Okay, so anyway, back to Bridget. So Bridget, what can I say about Bridget? Goddess of the hearth, the home, goddess that you connect to when you cook, when you do anything in your home, when you want blessings for your home. That's Bridget. She is the goddess of connected to the sun. She's a solar goddess, goddess of fire. She's also a goddess of water because she has connection to wells. She's very, there's lots and lots of wells all over England, Ireland, Scotland, you name it, the whole British Isles. And these wells are all connected to the goddess Bridget. So she is a water goddess as well, connected to water, connected to fire. She is a goddess of inspiration. Okay, she is the goddess of the bards. If you are a writer, if you like poetry, if you like to write, if you love to do artwork, if you love music, this is a goddess that will bring you inspiration and will bless you with the ability and the gifts to be an amazing poet, an amazing writer, an amazing musician. Okay, so in ancient times, the Celts, one of the like the specifically the Druids had different levels, and one of them was the bard, right? That was the Druid priest or that would connect to the goddess through art, and that was were one of Bridget's domain, which is, you know, like I'm saying, poetry, writing, the arts. Another thing that Bridget is known for is she is the goddess of forging, metalsmithing. If you wanted to do a sword, if you wanted to do anything with metals, any type of forging, that was the domain of Bridget. And she's also a goddess very connected to animals and to livestock and to cows and to farm and farming and especially dairy. A beautiful connection to Bridget, if you want to put an offering, would be milk and butter and beer, especially ale. So those are sacred to Bridget. Um, Once again, Bridget also has a connection to the saint, to Saint Bridget. So you're going to hear people say Saint Bridget, and you'll hear people say Goddess Bridget. So a lot of people feel Goddess Bridget and Saint Bridget are one and the same. Okay, so she is one of the few Celtic goddesses that actually survived the whole, you know, Christianization of the United Kingdom okay, of the British Isles. So she went from goddess to saint, literally. So they say that she never wanted to leave her people. So she preferred to become a saint than to disappear into oblivion. So that's one of the traits that is mentioned about Bridget, that she's a goddess that is very durable and she's there for her people. And let me not forget, she's also a goddess of healing. She's a healer. Okay, so goddess to connect to healing. Midwifery also. Yes, thank you, Marcia. She's also a midwife goddess, like that would, the midwives would connect to her. So farms, livestock, midwifery. I mean, she's also a goddess of the threshold. She's a liminal goddess. She's a goddess that stands for the threshold of your home. You want to bless your home. Um, Bridget is the goddess to connect to for that. Blessings of your home, your threshold. Um, and she's a liminal goddess, meaning that she's a goddess that is in between time. There are some goddesses that are called liminal goddesses, like Hecate is one of them. Bridget is another one who is a liminal goddess. Okay, so meaning that she's outside of time, space and time. Okay, that's what we call liminal. Very special goddess. And you can connect to her in so many different ways. Lumira just put that I have a healing altar. So I do, I have a healing altar to Bridget. Every Sunday I put petitions for healing. So I ask if anyone needs any healing, if anybody would like to be put on my altar. So what I do is I write down the names of everyone that wants healing or wants to connect, to Bridget. I put it on her altar. I light her candle, and that paper stays on her altar the whole week. And every single day I chant and I pray to Bridget. And I have prayer beads that I had made specially for her, and I have chants that I do to her. And I do this for the purpose of healing. So this is something that I do every single Sunday. And if you're wondering why specifically Sunday, well, the name says it all, Sunday. And she is a goddess of the sun, she's a solar goddess. So that's like the day that I connect to her strongest. I connect to her every day. I'm a priestess of Bridget, but that's my day I connect to her the strongest. So that's a little bit about Bridget, just so that you have, a little basis when we do our meditation. Oh, thank you for reminding me. Yes, she's also a triple goddess. So interesting when we talk about triple goddess. So I want to mention this because this is important. A lot of people, when you hear the word triple goddess, you think like maiden, mother, and crone. Most people think maiden, mother, and crone when you say triple goddess. But in ancient times, when you said triple goddess, you didn't necessarily mean mother, maiden, mother, and crone. You meant that a lot of goddesses they were considered like three goddesses in one, or three sisters. So some people say Bridget was actually three sisters. Some people say she's just one goddess. So if you find it interesting, the concept of the Trinity, okay, in Christianity, you say what? Like Father, Son, and Holy Spirit, or Holy Ghost. Well, they say that came from that concept in paganism of the three in one, the three sisters in one goddess. So Hecate also has same thing with it. She is three in one. The Morrigan, thank you, Melanie. The Morrigan is also three in one. This is very common in Celtic deities, okay? The whole concept of three in one. The Morrigan is also supposed to be three sisters in one goddess, okay? So it's one goddess, but three sisters. Bridget is the same, three sisters, one goddess. So some people see them as three different sisters. Some people see them as all one. So it really depends on how you connect to the goddess and how you perceive her and how you feel your connection to her. So I just wanted to mention that because that is important, and especially in the meditation that we're going to do, because you're going to get to encounter all three of them in whatever way you connect. So, and if you're wondering about who is the Morrigan, since I mentioned Morrigan, oh, thank you, Marcia. I'm going to mention that. So the Morrigan is another Celtic goddess of magic, death, war. Also very much mother goddess to some people, like depends on how you connect to her. And some legends say that she's Bridget's mother. So it's up for debate. Could be the Morrigan, or it could be Danu, which is another Celtic goddess that's supposed to be also possibly Bridget's mother. Both of them were married to the Dagda, and the Dagda is Bridget's father. So this is where the concept of possibly the Morrigan could be her mother. So I just wanted to mention that since Melanie brought up the Morrigan. And thank you for mentioning Marcia. She's also a goddess of sorrow and grief. And the reason why is because Bridget had a son whose name was Roadan, and he was killed in battle. And so she developed the concept of keening. So keening is a form of um, a form of expressing grief that is, it came from Ireland. And supposedly Bridget is the one that invented keening. So keening is it's difficult to explain the concept of keening. Some people is more like singing or wailing or lamenting or showing your grief through music. And there's like different ways of showing that, but it's a grief that comes from deep within, and it's expressed in many different ways. And so this is something that's very Irish. It's a lament, right? A lament for the dead, usually vocal expression. Exactly. Usually singing, or I've seen people do keening with guitar, like playing guitar and singing. So it's really just, there's many different ways of doing it, but it's an Irish practice. And they say it came from Bridget. Bridget was the first to develop keening, and it was for the deep grief of losing her only son in battle. So she's also supposed to be a member of the Tuatha De Dan. Hope I'm not butchering that. I'm terrible at pronouncing these foreign names, but the Tuatha De Dan is supposed to be the race of beings that Bridget was supposed to come from, and also the Morrigan as well as the Dagda. And basically, in a nutshell, if you think of the fairies, if you think of the fae, that is the Tuatha De Dan. So it's the fae. It's the fae. It's what we call fairies, elves. The other the elements, the other world. Especially in Irish or Celtic lore, this is the race that Bridget came from. So some people call her the Queen of the Fairies. So it depends on how you connect to this really powerful, amazing, and very intricate goddess. Let me just say, very intricate, very different. All right, so without further ado, we are going to have a meditation to connect to the goddess herself. Okay, so I'd like you to get comfortable, and you can turn off your camera if you like, or whatever makes you feel comfortable. I want you to be able to truly get comfortable and be able to connect to the goddess. All right, so since Melanie has opened sacred space for us, I don't need to do that. We are already in sacred space. So I want you to be able to take a deep breath and feel comfortable. And I'd like you to relax. I'd like you to go ahead and move your neck, move your arms, just stretch your muscles so that you could fully relax as much as possible. Want you really to just kick back and relax. Take a very deep and cleansing breath. And as you inhale, I'd like you to try to connect to this beautiful white light of protection and cleansing energy. Take a deep breath, let it out slowly through your mouth. And I'd like you to take another deep breath. And with each breath that you take, you are just a little bit more relaxed. Now, I'd like you to visualize yourself standing in a beautiful forest. It is a forest that is full of trees. There's flowers, there's trees, You see some squirrels and they're running across right in front of you. There's butterflies and all kinds of wildlife in front of you. As you keep walking through this forest, you notice that there are beautiful white flowers in the ground near the trees. These really pretty white flowers look like little bells. I want you to take in the sights. There's still a little bit of snow on the ground, just a little, but it's much warmer. Nice, nice feeling as you're walking through the forest. I want you to really take it in and feel the relaxation of being in nature, surrounded by beautiful butterflies. You know that you are noticing the very beginning of spring. And as you're walking through this forest, you notice that there is a little hut, little cottage, cute, cute little cottage, something you would see in a fairy tale. And you notice this cottage is up ahead. As you get closer to this cottage, I'd like you to take a deep breath and you smell what smells like pie baking in an oven. Take another deep breath, smell the smell of butter, the smell of sugar, and delicious baking. You can smell it all the way from where you're standing. And you know that you are approaching deliciousness as we speak. As you walk closer to the cottage, you notice a lady standing outside. She's forging a weapon. It looks like a weapon. As you get closer, you notice that she's wearing green, a beautiful long green robe, and flaming curly red hair. She looks otherworldly, almost like what you pictured a fairy to look like. She turns to you and smiles. And as you notice, she is forging, taking a hammer and hammering down what looks like a sword. As you get closer, she gives you the sword and says, I made this for you. I've been waiting for you to come. You take the sword in your hand. I want you to take a good look at the sword. Take a look at the color. Take a look at the hilt. You notice that there are jewels on the hilt. It's a beautiful, beautiful sword. A sword that looks almost like the sword of Excalibur. Something you've never seen before. She smiles and she says, this sword is for your protection. Use this sword when you need to cut cords, when you need to eliminate things from your life, when you need protection. Use it in ceremony, use it in ritual. It is yours to keep. You take the sword and hold it in your hand. And notice that on your body, there is a space for you to put the sword. On your clothing, you came prepared. You take the sword and you thank her. She smiles. And she says, come inside. I will take you to my sister. You notice that the goddess has a big smile on her face, a smile that radiates warmth and healing. You feel the vibration of her smile all through your body, almost like your chakras and all of the energy inside is swirling with a feeling of completeness. Feel the energy stirring through you as you feel every part of your body seems to be humming with healing energy. As she looks at you, she says, that sword is not only for protection, but it's also a healing sword, a sword that you can connect to and touch whenever you need healing. Keep it always. She takes you inside the cottage. You follow her. And as you walk in, you turn around and she's gone. But now you notice that there is the smell of pie baking in the oven is so strong. You could almost taste it. And all of a sudden, you see this beautiful woman, very similar to the one you just saw, also dressed in a green dress, little different from the other one, but a beautiful long green dress, also has red flaming hair. She could be her sister. She smiles and says, would you like a piece of pie? I just baked a blackberry pie. You smile and thank her. She says, please take a seat. You sit down in a small round table right across from the kitchen where she is baking this in the oven. She takes out the pie and puts it in front of you and says, this pie is the pie of abundance, prosperity. This is a pie that will bless you. As you eat it, feel the blessing, the protection that I can give you. Take this with you to your home. Take this with you to your family. She gives you the pie, lets you taste it. As you taste this pie, you feel the pie not only healing the inside of you, but connecting you to the energy of the sun and the moon. Feel the feeling of abundance as you take in this pie. It tastes like nothing you've ever tasted before. She tells you, I will wrap this pie so that not only you could eat it, but that you can share it with the ones you love. Just think of the person you'd like to share this pie with. Visualize them eating it, and so it is. As above, so below. So that when you leave this cottage, you are taking abundance, prosperity, and healing with you into your home, into your family. So you can share the bountiful abundance that I can provide for you as goddess of the hearth, the home of healing and protection. She smiles and holds your hand. You feel once again that healing energy coursing through your whole body as you feel connected to this beautiful goddess that is standing in front of you. You notice that the cottage inside is beautiful. It seems to glow with an otherworldly charm. She tells you, close your eyes and relax. I want you to really taste this pie. Take it in and feel how it heals you from the inside out. As you close your eyes and you begin to truly taste this blackberry pie, when you open your eyes, you notice that there is a letter that has been written, a letter that is lying there on the table that you did not see before. I want you to pick up that letter and look at it. because in that letter is a message from Bridget, a message that is all for you. As you hold the paper and look at it, read the message the goddess is giving you. You notice out of the corner of your eye, there is a table across from you, and there's another beautiful woman with flaming red hair in a green dress, a little different from the other two. And she is writing away, constantly writing nonstop. You notice that this is also Bridget. She looks up at you and says, with the letter I left for you, I give you wisdom, inspiration, so that you too can connect to me whenever you pick up a pen, whenever you sing a song, whenever you even think of something artistic, you have already connected to me because I am the goddess of inspiration and flow. And I left you that letter so that you can connect to me through my message. She smiles at you. You pick up the letter, you put it away. She slowly fades away. Now you are left with your pie, your sword, and the beautiful letter that is a message from the goddess. As you take one last look at this cabin, at this cute cottage in the middle of the woods, take one last look as you walk outside and you're back to the forest. Like you to continue walking down the path. Once again, you see the white flowers, the squirrels. You see a bunny rabbit also hopping away. All these beautiful signs of nature. And as you're walking away from the forest, I want you to close your eyes. And once again, you're back in your room, you're back in your seat. And when you feel ready, I'd like you to go ahead and open your eyes.
You want us back on camera, right? So we can
Yeah,
continue
if you,
sharing.
yeah, if you'd like to come back on camera and share whenever you're ready. Whenever you're ready.
I'd like to hear from at least 2 or 3 and how you connected, if there was something, a message for you, some experience, some expression of the experience you had tonight.
I wish I had my sword in real life. I loved it. It was beautiful. And it was weird because like when I went up to her and she was like making it or whatever, I thought it was going to be very like rustic looking, but when she handed it to me, it had like a gold handle with like a beautiful amethyst in the middle with like green emeralds on either side, and like the handle of it was gold, but the blade part was like so shiny and beautiful. And I literally like I was just like, oh my god, this is like I like in my meditation I was like, I really want this in real life as well. Like I like actually thought of it. like that. And it was so, and like had these cool carvings of like swirls and like detailed like in the handle part. And yeah, I don't know. The sword was just the coolest thing. It just wasn't what I was expecting, and it was beautiful.
I'm glad. How did you like the pie? Anybody else want to share?
That was amazing. Yeah, I could smell the apple pie. Smelled like apple, and yeah, the cutting of the cords. I'm releasing some major things this week, and my back today energetically seized up on me, and after this cord cutting, it's like looser. Um, yeah, it was very, very tight and really sore today. And then, yeah, and now it feels looser. I just got up and yeah, just trusting. So it was absolutely perfect. Thank you. It was beautiful. Thank you guys.
You're welcome. How about you, Marcia? Were you able to experience Bridget?
Yeah, thank you. That was beautiful. Interesting enough, the most um, intense part of the meditation for me was the last when we met Bridget of Inspiration. And I felt as if she was saying, I've always been with you, because I have artistic abilities that I just was born with. Like as a child, I could just look at things and draw them right. And it was just, it was as if she was saying, like, I cried because I felt like she was telling me, like, I've always been with you. You just never realized it. Maybe you weren't ready, but I've always been there. That
Wow,
felt amazing.
I'm so
Thank
glad. You're welcome. You're welcome. Anybody else have a powerful connection? Melanie, did you feel anything?
Well, so anytime I meditate, I keep like paper and I like write as I have my eyes closed. So it looks a little sloppy, but I try to, just like dreams, I try to pick out symbolism. And when you were describing the flowers as we walked up, I saw you said white flowers, and even before that, I pictured like the snowdrop flowers that people often
Right,
see in like Imbolc pictures.
right.
My sword was silver, like the silver blade stuck out to me, and Celtic, like holster and hilt. And I also smelled apple pie, same as Trish. So that was significant. I wrote down apple. Interestingly enough, the message that I got was not anything that I really like expected, but I also needed at the same time. Like it was very interesting. So what I got was go forth, be strong, you are protected. So I needed that. I needed that very much so. Yeah, and at the end was significant. Walking out the door, the video that I had sent to you and Marlu was like the deer, the mountain-esque background once again in my subconscious, even though we're doing like an Irish, it was very Scott. So it was interesting that that was the end vision that I was kind of left with. So that's also obviously significant. So yeah, all in all, very predominantly symbolic. It was
That's
good.
awesome.
Thank you.
That's awesome. You're welcome. You know, I just want to mention she's very, very revered in Scotland as well. They call her Bridie or Bride, or, you know, same goddess. She's very revered in Scotland. As a matter of fact, the story I was talking about, the Cadillac and Bridget, that's mainly from Scotland because the Cadillac is a Scottish, mainly a Scottish goddess. So yeah, I can see the significance. Anybody else want to share? How about you, Sally? Is this your first encounter with Bridget?
Yes, this is. Although I love your meditations, this is my second one with you. Love them.
Thank you.
I did not smell apple pie. I'm sorry, but I did taste the blackberry pie, and it tasted like blackberry pie. It was good. And most of mine was feelings, energetic, love, brightness for some reason. Definitely spring. Uh, I don't know if it's because that or just because I want it so badly. I got so many projects. I'm sitting at the door waiting because you can't paint until it gets warm enough. And it's like I just got all this stuff and I'm so ready for spring. I'm so tired of the cold. But I felt the warmth and it was like, oh yes, it's about time. Got all the critters coming out. It's like finally gonna do no mow May. You don't mow for a whole month for the bees. And that's what I was feeling.
Awesome. Thank you, Sally. That's awesome. So the reason why I picked blackberry is because that is one of her sacred foods, you know, very connected to Bridget, and Imbolc is blackberry. So blackberry, milk, butter, and anything dairy, so, and blackberry is one of her foods, they say, sacred to Bridget. Also honey, very connected to the bee, also, as a lot of goddesses are connected to the bee. So thank you, Sally. That's awesome. Oh, Connie, I didn't know you were on. I just saw you. Hi, Connie. I don't know if you got a chance to do the meditation. I didn't see you. I don't know when you came on. But thank you for coming. Anybody else want to share? We think everybody shared. How about you? Wait. Lumira, hello. Almost forgot you, girl. Speak up. What did you experience?
That was really cool. I did have a beautiful sword too, Marissa. Of course, mine had dragon claws and dragon stuff all over it. And it had one, I know, I had you said it was encrusted with a bunch of jewels. Mine had one, and it was a white, light blue, white one. I don't know the meaning behind it yet, but I will. I'll figure it out. Blackberry pie. I tasted it. I saw it. I tasted it. I felt the warmth of it. The message was clear, and although there was a message for me, it was also a message for you. So I'll
For me?
tell you that.
For me?
Yeah.
Oh,
But I'll tell you that in private.
okay. Thank you.
Yeah.
Yay, Bridget. She sends me a message. She's like, since you're not meditating, hello, you're leading the meditation. I'm going to send the message anyway. It's very Bridget. Thank you. So, yeah, I am so glad, ladies, that you got to enjoy the meditation. Bridget is an awesome goddess to connect to. She really is. Very healing. A simple practice that you can do if you want to connect to her energy is flame tending or flame keeping. That is a practice that is done for Bridget. So Bridget was supposed to have had 19 priestesses in ancient Celtic times that would light her fire every single day. One of her priestess took turns lighting the fire to keep her fire burning all the time. right? Because she is a goddess of fire, and she's a solar goddess. So they would light her fire. And on the 20th day, Bridget would light the fire herself. So the 19 goddesses would leave, and the fire would continue burning because it was burned by the goddess herself. So this was a practice that later on was also used when in the 5th century we had Saint Bridget. So remember how I mentioned that we've got the goddess Bridget, and then she kind of morphed into Saint Bridget. And so Saint Bridget also did the same thing. She had 19 nuns, and each nun would take turns lighting the candle, or lighting her fire, in other words, and then she would light her own fire on the 20th day, just like the goddess. And this was done right after Bridget, Saint Bridget passed. It continued, and this continued for a long time until in medieval times. Later on, this was discontinued when the Abbey of Saint Bridget was destroyed. And then another one was built much later on, and the flame keeping continued. Now it was recently revived again, and this is now a practice that is done in not only in Ireland, in Kildare, which is where the Abbey of St. Bridget is located, in Kildare, Ireland, but it's also done all over the world. People that follow Bridget or connect to the goddess or to the saint, they do flame keeping. And so what you do is you light a candle, you pick any day of the month that you want to light her candle, and then you keep her candle lit all day. And then you connect to her through prayers. You could put an offering, like I'm saying, milk, butter, ale or beer if you don't have ale. Blackberry, if you have blackberry, that's one of her sacred fruits. Lavender, honey, these are all very sacred to Bridget. So these are some examples of things that you can put as offerings. You could do something simple like light an incense, burn her candle, put some water as an offering. So this is something simple that you can do to honor her. I would recommend, if you have a hearth or a fireplace or just your kitchen, you can do this in your kitchen, since she is the goddess of the hearth. And this is just a beautiful practice that you can do. And in ancient Celtic times, what they used to do is the day began in sundown. So you would light the candle from sundown, let's say a sundown Monday to sundown Tuesday, and that would be considered a day. So you could do it that way, or you could just do it like a regular day where you could light it in the morning and continue lighting it until the evening. So this is called flame keeping. So this is a beautiful practice that you could do if you want to continue connecting to her energy a little more and bringing in her abundance and her healing energy into your home. So if anybody has any questions, anything else you'd like to share, this would be the time.
I want to share.
Go for it.
Mel just told me what stone it is. She said, look up Angelite. I looked it up. Angelite facilitates contact with your angels and spirit guides, helps you connect with your higher self, enhances psychic healing and telepathic communication, and enables astral travel and spirit journeys. When someone gives it to you, it represents peace and sisterhood or brotherhood. Peace. And it comes from, it was once in water, evaporates, and then it becomes that crystal. And I'm all about water. So, I mean, it's perfect. Isn't it perfect? And I didn't even know what it was.
Leave it to Bridget to just give
I
you the
gotta get
perfect,
one of those.
As
give
soon
you the
as you
perfect
said
stone.
bluish white, I was like, oh, that's got to be it. It just clicked for me. So
Well,
there
look at
you go.
that. You could put it under your pillow to practice lucid dreaming.
It's also very Aquarian. It's a stone that is very associated with Aquarius, which we're in Aquarius season currently. So, ta-da!
I'm priestess of peace, enchantress of unwavering peace, and Angelite is about peace. So
I pictured I pictured Angelite right when you were explaining it, but I couldn't think of the name of it. But I saw it, like right when you explained it, I was like, I know exactly, but I just couldn't. I'm like very tired, but I was gonna look it up in my book because I was like, I'm pretty positive I know what stone she's talking about.
Thank you, Mel, for looking that up for me.
Thank you, Mel. Isn't that amazing? Isn't that
And
amazing? So
hey,
And now we're gonna close Sacred Space. Go ahead, Trish.
I had never heard of Angelite, but I was drawn to it at Christmas time. I have loaded my cart with 3 different necklaces that I had purchased that I'm going to purchase for you that I had downloaded to get you. I have yet to buy it, but it was Angelite.
Why? Explain. Well, how come you thought of me?
I did. I don't know. I downloaded that and I just I haven't purchased it, but it's in my cart to purchase you Angelite. Yes.
Oh my gosh.
I mean, girl, think about it. Angel light,
And I've
angel.
never heard of the stone before. I'm like, what is this? Yeah.
I mean,
Wow.
Amazing.
let's face it, Lumira. When somebody thinks angel, they think of you. Hello. So natural connection.
I've never. Wow. I'm blown away. Thank you, ladies.
You're welcome.
That's what sisterhood's all about, right? We're all connected one way. We don't have to know all the ways, but it all comes out eventually. There's no accidents.
Nope.
Oh, that is very true. That is very true. All right, ladies, if you feel complete, Melanie, would you like to close our circle?
If I can get this unmuted, the one time I can't yap, right? It's amazing. All right. Thank you so much, everybody who showed up. Anytime you're closing sacred space or a circle, you work in the opposite direction. So we ended with west, start with west. So guardians of the watchtower of the west, element of water, I thank you, hail, farewell. Guardians of the watchtower of the south, element of fire, I thank you, hail, farewell. Guardians of the watchtower of the east, element of air, I thank you, hail and farewell. Guardians of the watchtower of the north, element of earth, I thank you, hail and farewell. We thank the God and Goddess for all their blessings. You are always welcome. I go forward, closing the circle. Hail and farewell. So mote it be.
The circle is open, but never unbroken. Thank you, ladies, for coming. I hope you enjoyed this little mini Imbolc celebration. Blessed be. Yes, absolutely. And I hope that from now on, when you think of Imbolc, you think fondly of this beautiful goddess that is just standing there, well, ready to welcome you. She's a very welcoming goddess, very healing goddess. And once again, if you are in need of healing, just remember every Sunday, reach out to me and I will put you on my healing altar. And I will dedicate prayers for you, offerings for you, like candles. If you have a candle lit right now, I lit this early today, and then I lit it again when I came back from work. And this is a candle for healing. I have this on her altar. I usually have it every Sunday, but you know, because of Imbolc, of course, I light candles to Bridget every day, but I mean like the healing candle specifically. I lit it, you know, yesterday, today, and I'll probably have it again tomorrow. So just any ladies need any healing for yourself, for other people, just let me know.
Thank
Okay.
you.
You're welcome. Thank all of you for coming,
Thank you, ladies.
and happy Imbolc. You're welcome.
Bye-bye.
Bye, everybody. Enjoy your night. Oh, okay, Trish. Absolutely. Yes.
Thank you, ladies. Love you.
Love you too. Bye.
Bye. So, want to hear?
Yeah, it's just us. Oh, okay, yes. Go ahead.
Hold on, let me stop recording.